What's going on, everybody? Hope you all are having a fantastic day today. Now today we're going to be talking about some Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and also we're going to be mentioning the developers who designed Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and that is Treyarch. And in order to show some respect to those amazing developers, we're going to be showing some Call of Duty World at War gameplay, probably the best video game that Treyarch has ever made. Balanced maps, balanced weapon design, balanced streaks, balanced everything. The game was just basically absolutely perfection. There were a few things that were annoying, like noob tubes and bouncing betties, but literally everything else was perfect. I enjoyed the video game. But we're going to be talking about Black Ops Cold War, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. The game should have flopped. If we're going to keep things 100% here on this channel, the game should have been complete utter garbage, and we should be having a Modern Warfare Year Part 2 right now. There should be no release, there should probably be no trailer or anything for this video game, and the game should probably be pushed back as it is. Now, for those who don't know about all the rumors and the leaks that released earlier this year, Treyarch actually came onto this game extremely late. Extremely late. This was supposed to be Sledgehammer's game, and Sledgehammer got cut out of the project. I think the rumor was back then that they were beefing with Raven Studios, but I don't know the exact details. All I know is that Raven got cut out. They could have been beefing, they could have got, demoted off of the project to go work on a different Call of Duty title. Whatever the deal is, they got taken off of their own game, and Treyarch had to come in and save the day. They had to rescue the video game, they had to start from scratch, they had to make a campaign, they had to make a multiplayer, they had to make a new zombie storyline. They had to basically do all of this stuff from scratch with very minimum time. Typically, these developers will get 2 to 3 years every single cycle, and they know when they need to start, and they know when it needs to be finished. There's always a deadline, there's always a point that they need to begin with. So they know their schedule. But when you're thrown off guard from your schedule and you're given like a year less of time, that's a lot of time. You might think, well, they still had 2 years to make the video game. But let's be honest here, if you're planning out a game with 3 years and you get cut down to 2, that's a full year's worth of work that they have scheduled, maybe graphics, animations, map design, and they have to scrunch it down into the last 2 years that they have to work with. Honestly, like I said, Black Ops Cold War should not be a video game right now. It should probably be utter garbage. But I have to give Treyarch props, I really do. Even if the game turns out bad. Even if the mechanics and the gameplay and, all this stuff that I'm hyping up right now turns out to be absolutely awful, which I really hope it doesn't, because like I said, I played the game, I found it extremely fun, the gameplay was fun, it was very rewarding, there was a very obvious skill gap between players, unlike Modern Warfare where there's absolutely no skill gap, and a freaking person with a .2 KD can absolutely melt me across the map without even having to think twice. At least there's a skill gap in the game and all this stuff. But if all that stuff goes wrong, and it still turns out to be utter booty cheeks, I have to give them props. They put a video game out with much less time coming into a game that was already being designed, which means Sledgehammer probably already had a campaign, they already had a multiplayer, they probably had everything set and ready to go, which means Treyarch had to scrap it all, remake everything, get a new storyline, a new plot, like I said, a new multiplayer, new weapons, new this, new that. They had to start all of that stuff from scratch after removing everything that Sledgehammer has already done. To be honest, I feel like people are just being a little too harsh on Treyarch right now. They're giving way too much hateful criticism instead of constructive criticism. You see, a lot of the things that I'm angry about with the video game, I have listed to you guys, and I've said it, and I've given my criticism. I haven't been yelling at them, I haven't been screaming at them, I haven't been ranting at them, even though I did rant about the early alpha, but that wasn't to Treyarch, that was specifically to Activision. But I've given my constructive criticism. Ninja needs to be buffed, snipers need to be nerfed, they need better map designs compared to Miami. I gave my opinions about multiple things that are wrong in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. But a lot of people are being extremely harsh on this development team. And to be completely honest with you guys, I do find it unfair because, like I said earlier in the commentary, they are doing this video game with a massive lack of time. 365 days have been completely cut out of their schedule. And they had to start from scratch from a video game that was already in the making. Literally a game that was probably already halfway done. A development team put at least in a year or year and a half into that video game, completely wasted. Completely thrown away, and Treyarch has to come in with a year less of a notice. Their main idea for their future game that was supposed to come after Sledgehammer's game has to be completely scratched. They have to remake a whole new idea for a video game. They are under some insane pressure right now. Pressure that I can't even imagine myself being in. And I do understand that this game might only look good because Modern Warfare was such a rough year for a lot of us. I know some people did enjoy Modern Warfare, but me personally, it was just so bad. It was... I can't even put into words anymore. If you want to just know my opinion about Modern Warfare, just look at like the 300 plus rants I made about the video game. I've made way too many rants about this game, about how much I hate it. But having such a hard year to grind through, especially as a content creator, because as you guys know, if you're a YouTuber and you do Call of Duty content, you gotta stay up to date with Call of Duty. You gotta play the most recent one, you know? I can't have Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War drop, and the only thing I play is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the old school one. It doesn't make much logical sense. So obviously I had to grind through Modern Warfare for the full year, I had to make content, think of content, and try to force myself to enjoy it enough to actually grind through for the full year. It was torture. So yes, I can understand why, you know, Black Ops Cold War might look so good right now, because it's actually a game that's not Modern Warfare, and it, you know, requires a little bit more skill. But at the end of the day, they did put a lot of effort into it. You can definitely tell that, you know, they had less time making it. Like I said, the graphics are booty cheeks, the animations are bare bone compared to everything that's in Modern Warfare. Black Ops Cold War isn't a very visually appealing video game, but it makes sense why it's not visually appealing. They didn't have enough time to actually focus on making sure the game was going to be graphically good. So they put more of their resources and time to focus on the actual gameplay of this game. They made a few huge innovations to the title, adding, you know, headshot multiplier that actually makes headshots very viable in the game, no flinch, no drop shotting unless you have a perk attached, just like, well, not perk, but attachment, just like how it was in Black Ops 4, though. The map designs look outstanding. You know, that was a big problem with me for map designs in the past. Black Ops 4 was so basic and bare bone that it was no variety, but in Black Ops Cold War, it looks like they're taking that away, and they're giving us the old school vibes that we had in, like, the World at War and Black Ops 1 days, even Black Ops 2, where the maps were, and for people who say they hate large-scaled maps, no. Large-scaled maps were all over Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. If you guys like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, but you hate the map designs that are larger scaled, medium to large scale, I don't know what to say, because over half the maps in both those games were medium to large scaled. But I love the map design. They're bringing it back to what maps used to feel like in the old school Call of Duty games. They have variety, they have good paths, but they're not like Modern Warfare and Infinity Ward design maps. There's not head glitches every 5 corners. There's no obnoxious spots for people to camp out in. You can rotate, you can move, you can position, and you can have fun. You could tell that they put a lot of effort into making sure the gameplay was solid. And honestly, at the end of the day, I can't complain about that, because gameplay is the number one thing that you need to make sure that your game is good. Like you see right here, World at War. I could play this game for hours on end, and it does not look anything close to what Call of Duty Modern Warfare looks like graphically. But the gameplay is there, and because the gameplay is so good, I can sit here and I can play this game for hours and hours and hours. And I think the same thing is going to be happening with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Graphics, not the best. Animations, not too crazy. But if the gameplay is solid, if what I saw from the alpha is actually decent, and it moves over to PC and it's even better, I think this game is going to be a massive winner. And like I said in the beginning, I have to give Treyarch props. They were given a task to make a video game with less time, to scrap a whole storyline and whole multiplayer that Sledgehammer has made, to make their own, that to remake a whole storyline, remake a whole new multiplayer, a whole new zombies experience, that to do all of that. I mean, come on now. And they're definitely going through crunch time. It's no doubt in my mind. They're not postponing the game. The game is still coming out on an official release date. And like a bunch of other games, like the new Halo game and stuff like that, got pushed back. So if games like that got pushed back, a Call of Duty game should have definitely got pushed back to 2021. But knowing Activision, they're not going to miss out on the holiday sales. They got to make sure this game's out before December so they can make the big bucks when it comes to Christmas time. Which means that the developers are going to be working insanely hard this year. Like I said, usually they have 3 years and they can push out a game in 3 years without having to crunch time or without having to be too stressed. But this year it's going to be a different story. They don't have that much time. They had 1 less year, I believe, maybe even 2 years. Who knows how much time they actually had. And on top of that, they need to get it out on a specific date. They can't push it back. They're working at home. They can't communicate with each other. It's a lot of stuff going on right now. I just have to give them props. Like I said, this game could turn out completely awful. It could be the worst Call of Duty game I've ever played. But the fact that Treyarch is still pushing through and they're trying to get something out here with all the situations that are going on between COVID and having to stay home and not being at an office with your team and not being able to focus solely on this video game, having less time to make the video game, having to come up with a whole new storyline, it's a lot of things that they got hit with. And so far, so good. Now, I can't really talk completely about the game until we see the full campaign and the zombies. If the campaign is amazing and the zombies is amazing, then, I mean, Treyarch might become my new favorite development team when it comes to Call of Duty video games. Infinity Ward has always held that special place in my heart for my favorite development team, whether it's the whole Modern Warfare series. I enjoyed Ghost. I really liked the Infinite Warfare. I was a pretty big fan of Infinity Ward back in the day, I'm not going to lie. But with Modern Warfare, it almost looked like they just took a step completely backwards. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, graphically, they blew my mind. They took a massive step in the right direction when it came to the graphics of Modern Warfare, but gameplay-wise, we went back like 5-10 years. Movement's good, don't get me wrong and all that stuff. That's definitely new and innovated and, more modern. But when it comes to the actual gunfights and, how the noobs can just stomp you out and no matter which way, shape, or form, it just takes me back to the old school days where people had freaking Dead Man's Hand, Last Stand, Martyrdom. That's what it brings me back to. Supporting the noobs and making sure that they get easy kills and making sure that pub stompers suffer when they're trying to go for good streaks. I don't like that. But with Black Ops Cold War, I'm feeling pretty good. If they can actually pull this off, if the campaign, zombies, and multiplayer are good, even if the graphics are bad, if the graphics and animation stay completely butt, which I'm assuming they are because not much is changing from the alpha to the beta to the actual form of the game. I don't think graphics are going to be tweaked with. I don't think animations are going to be tweaked with. What I think they're going to be tweaking is gameplay things. Maybe Ninja, the C4s, actual gameplay mechanics will be messed with. But when it comes down to the graphics, that's not doing anything. But if they can pull off this video game, Treyarch might actually become my new favorite studio because that just proves a lot about this development team with their dedication, their love for Call of Duty, and their passion for this franchise. It just blows my mind that they're able to do what they're doing with the amount of time that they had. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into the commentary. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. By all means, if you hated it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new, enjoy what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Also, want to chat with me, there's 2 ways to do so. I have a Twitter and a Discord. Both those links are in the description. And also, want to catch me live stream, I do that over on Twitch. Link to that is in the description as well. But guys, thank you so much for watching and for all the recent support as well. You guys have been really killing on this channel recently. I can't thank you guys enough. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.